As a Peace Corps volunteer in the African country of Benin, Kate Pusey never went anywhere without her dog, Carlos.
And that's Carlos.
So protective of Kate that the villagers made jokes about Carlos.
And they started calling him her husband.
On the night she would be murdered, it was so hot that Kate decided to sleep on the outdoor porch of her house where she lived alone. The protective Carlos wouldn't stop barking at something.
He was being restless and agitated, and so she let him off to go run.
Police say that it was around midnight, with a bright moon illuminating the path, when a man with a knife sneaked up on Kate's house. There was no Carlos to guard her.
She was asleep. She had earplugs in.
Hours later, as the sun rose over the African plain and the village of Bajude awoke to church bells and the Muslim call to prayer, the women began to collect water at the well and start their morning cooking fires. Outside Kate's house, children on their way to school noticed she was still in her bed on the porch. Her body was found here in a pool of blood. The senior police official for the region took 2020 back to the scene of what he said was the first murder ever in the village.
Her throat was slit. They found her lying on her side. So the way that you slaughter a goat to eat is just about the way that Kate would have been killed.
A suspect was in custody within hours. Constant Bio, the fellow teacher and Peace Corps employee who had just been fired based on the email Kate wrote saying Bio had sexually assaulted students at her school. In a letter to a Benin newspaper, Bio said he was innocent, being framed by America. But police say Bio was tipped off about Kate's email to the Peace Corps, which she had asked and was promised would be kept confidential.
This is a violent person. This is a person that has no respect for women. So what's going to happen when he loses his prestige? He's going to lose his job.
Police believe the leak came from the Peace Corps office in the capital, from the brother of Constant Bio, who worked there as a manager, something Kate had pointed out in her email.
And she says very delicately in her email, you know, this is a sensitive situation because the man that I'm referring to is the brother. In the email, she says she understands what that means.
Kate's family, including her brother David, is convinced the breach of confidentiality by the Peace Corps set Kate up to be murdered.
It just seems very obvious that was the cause. Kate was trying to protect these young girls who were being sexually abused, and you're reading this email and you're thinking this is what did it. This was the key point that set off this catastrophic effect that would destroy our lives.
Since the murder, Peace Corps officials in Washington, D.C. have worked hard to keep the case and their mistakes quiet. A report by the Inspector General says an investigation found there was a direct link between the leaked information and a local criminal investigation, without mentioning the name of Kate Pusey or that she had been murdered, as if it never happened.
They're so afraid of something that damaging the image or something that they...
And again, I know they have to protect their bureaucracy, and I understand that, but they
Does it
could
hurt
have
you?
done more.
It hurt you?
And, it hurt us deeply.
We wanted to ask the Peace Corps' new director, Aaron Williams, about the case.
It was glorious to celebrate the legacy of John F. Kennedy.
He's been appearing across the country to celebrate the upcoming 50th anniversary of the Peace Corps, but refused to appear on 2020.
Was this not that important?
No, not at all. It's very important. It's his top priority as well.
Instead, he sent his deputy, newly appointed Carrie Hessler-Radelet. But she would not address the Peace Corps' mistakes, saying all of the facts are not yet known, almost 2 years later.
Does the Peace Corps bear any responsibility for her death?
I cannot say because the investigation is not complete until the...
You don't know what happened?
I do know some things about the case, but the investigation is not complete. There's a lot I don't know.
But was her confidentiality breached by the Peace Corps?
I cannot say that because the investigation is not...
The Inspector General said the investigation disclosed there was a direct link between the leaked information and a local criminal investigation, her murder.
Well, you have the report there. But I certainly can't.
Does that mean the Peace Corps does bear some responsibility?
I cannot say that.
The Peace Corps' stonewalling has enraged the Pusey family, who told us it was only after the Peace Corps learned that 2020 was investigating that officials actually came to visit the parents at their home in Georgia.
Oh, I love this picture here.
Earlier, Kate's belongings had been delivered unceremoniously in a large cardboard box in the driveway.
She was a hero, and I thought maybe a representative would come, or at least a letter in the box. Just the delivery man showed up with a box. That was it. It was just too hurtful.
And Harry Pusey still wonders why the Peace Corps didn't move Kate out of the village as a precaution.
If they had done that?
If they had done that, our daughter would be alive today.
So what do you say to what Mr. Pusey says?
Well, you know, I have nothing but sadness and grief for their family. They've lost their beloved daughter.
Do you accept his conclusion?
I have not. We have to wait until the investigation comes out and there is a trial.
The Peace Corps says it has taken some action. The official who received Kate's email and promised it would be kept confidential, Country Director Cheryl Cowan, resigned shortly after the murder. She told ABC News the Peace Corps had instructed her not to discuss the case.
Actually, we're taking a video.
Like most volunteers, Kate Pusey loved the Peace Corps.
I mean, for all the people who didn't know her, trust me, she was doing great things.
But Kate's family has now sadly concluded that the people who run the Peace Corps failed Kate, betraying her brave efforts to protect her students, betraying an organization that has done so much good.
We're trying to make Kate proud. We're trying to make sure her legacy stands for something.